1 Timothy 6:8 And having food and raiment let us be there with content. 1 Timothy 6:9 But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. 1 Timothy 6:10 For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. We read in the Bible that people have been buying and selling merchandise with gold and silver since ancient times. The Bible first mentions gold almost at the very beginning of the book of Genesis. Genesis 2:11 The name of the first is Pison, that is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. Genesis 2:12 And the gold of that land is good, there is bdellium and the onyx stone. The book of Genesis states categorically that gold is good. Good, tob, good, pleasant, agreeable, adjective. The Bible also often remarks about the wealth, in silver and gold, of various patriarchs and kings from antiquity. Genesis 13:2 And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. All through the Bible, everything of eternal value, most especially virtue and wisdom, is compared to gold and silver. Job 23:10 But he knows the way that I take. When he hath tried me, I shall come forth as gold. Proverbs 8:10 Receive my instruction, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. Proverbs 8:11 For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. Proverbs 17:3 The fining pot is for silver, and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tries the hearts. Isn't it odd that in recent times, silver and gold has been so denigrated and maligned by modern economists, intellectuals, and business leaders? In truth, the gold standard is already a barbarous relic. John Maynard Keynes. We no more need to preserve the myth of God in order to preserve a just and stable society than we needed to cling to the gold standard to keep our currency sound. Daniel Dennett. Gold gets dug out of the ground in Africa, or someplace. Then we melt it down, dig another hole, bury it again and pay people to stand around guarding it. It has no utility. Anyone watching from Mars would be scratching their head. Warren Buffett. What Warren Buffett ought to know, and what I believe he does actually know, is that gold provides a fundamental utility that is the foundation of global commerce, trade, economic growth, and most important of all, liberty. Let's read what Warren Buffett's father wrote about gold in a famous essay. But when you recall that one of the first moves by Lenin, Mussolini and Hitler was to outlaw individual ownership of gold, you begin to sense that there may be some connection between money, redeemable in gold, and the rare prize known as human liberty. Howard Buffett. We do not have to be geniuses to figure out why tyrants, con men, and bankers would rather not use gold as money. The use of fiat money makes it exceedingly simple for people in positions of power, and other scam artists, to rob money from the general public. Fiat money is a currency without intrinsic value that has been established as money by government decree. With the exception only of the period of the gold standard, practically all governments of history have used their exclusive power to issue money to defraud and plunder the people. Friedrich August von Hayek. Historians tell us that the Chinese invented silk cloth, the compass, gunpowder, paper, movable type printing, and an invention more destructive and dangerous than gunpowder. Paper money. Soon after the Mongol took over China and established Yuan dynasty, it followed the example of its predecessors, Tang, Song, and Qin, in using paper currency. The first paper currency issued in Yuan dynasty was in 1260. Various denominations were printed, ranging from a face value of 2 standard coins to the highest denomination of 2 strings. Excessive printing year after year soon flooded the market with depreciated paper money until the face value of each certificate bore no relation whatsoever to its counterpart in silver. In 1272 a series of new issues was put in circulation and the old issues were converted into the new ones at the ratio of 5:1. The new issues were printed with copper plates instead of wood blocks, as had been the case before. In 1309 another conversion became necessary. In 50 years from 1260 to 1309 yuan's paper money was depreciated by 1000%. When European leaders learned about paper money from the Mongols, there was no stopping them from forcing the general public to take worthless fiat paper money in place of valuable gold and silver. History also tells us that invariably whenever a government has experimented with the use of paper fiat money, the end results were always the same: inflation, war, economic collapse, and finally the destruction of the government. Gold is not necessary. I have no interest in gold. We will build a solid state, without an ounce of gold behind it. Anyone who sells above the set prices, let him be marched off to a concentration camp. That's the bastion of money. Adolf Hitler. Like Nazi Germany and the Mongol Empire before them, The United States began its experiment with fiat money in August of 1971, after President Nixon closed the gold window and stopped redeeming the dollar for gold. I believe that the United States, and the whole world, will soon witness the end result of that historically doomed experiment one final time. The gold standard did not collapse. Governments abolished it in order to pave the way for inflation. The whole grim apparatus of oppression and coercion, policemen, customs guards, penal courts, prisons, in some countries even executioners, had to be put into action in order to destroy the gold standard. Solemn pledges were broken, retroactive laws were promulgated, provisions of constitutions and bills of rights were openly defied. And hosts of servile writers praised what the governments had done and hailed the dawn of the fiat money millennium. Ludwig von Mises. I am sorry if I have gone on too long with the history of paper money. I believe gold and silver is God's only real money, and everything else, including cryptocurrency, is a Ponzi scheme created to fleece the general public. I also believe that a brief history lesson of fiat money is necessary in order for us to foresee the most likely consequences of using cryptocurrency as money. I believe that cryptocurrency will be the last money to be used before the second coming of Jesus Christ. Cryptocurrency, a digital asset designed to work as a medium of exchange that uses cryptography to secure its transactions, to control the creation of additional units, and to verify the transfer of assets. Revelation 13:16 And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads. Revelation 13:17 And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. We see in the book of Revelation that the beast and his beast system will have a mechanism in place that will actually prevent people from engaging in commerce if they refuse to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads. What possibly can it be? Mark, kar agma, a scratch or etching, that is, stamp, as a badge of servitude, or sculptured figure, statue, graven, mark. A lot of people have speculated about the identity of the mark of the beast, including me, but we have to ask another more pertinent question. How would a mark prevent, or allow, somebody from engaging in trade and commerce? The answer is, it wouldn't stop anybody from buying or selling, not unless every transaction can be tracked. If you are familiar with the history of cryptocurrency, you might say to yourself, Bitcoin is a decentralized currency and was specifically created to give people anonymity and privacy. Bitcoin is the first decentralized digital currency, as the system works without a central bank or single administrator. The network is peer-to-peer and transactions take place between users directly, without an intermediary. I know that advocates of Bitcoin always proclaim the benefits of cryptocurrency as safe, uncomplicated, and private. However, if you want to do a transaction with anybody, the transaction must take place on the cryptocurrency's peer-to-peer network, and the transaction must take place on the internet. Also, advanced cryptocurrencies can pinpoint the time, place, and identity of every financial transaction. Therefore, every transaction can be tracked. I can hear some cryptocurrency advocates protest already. You can do transactions over the Tor network and do everything in secret. Can you really? I believe the Tor network is only secret if the government does not care what you are doing on the Tor network. If you do a large transactions using cryptocurrency on the Tor network, no doubt certain people in the government will definitely care. Tor is free software for enabling anonymous communication. The name is derived from an acronym for the original software project named the Onion Router. Tor aims to conceal its users' identities and their online activity from surveillance and traffic analysis by separating identification and routing. It is an implementation of onion routing, which encrypts and then randomly bounces communications through a network of relays run by volunteers around the globe. Let me tell you the story about the Silk Road, not the ancient trading route between Europe and China, but a more modern version. Silk Road was an online black market and the first modern darknet market, best known as a platform for selling illegal drugs. As part of the dark web, it was operated as a Tor hidden service, such that online users were able to browse it anonymously and securely without potential traffic monitoring. In 2011, a down on his luck former Eagle Scout named Ross Ulbricht came up with the almost brilliant idea of creating an online black market site called Silk Road. His idea was to allow people to do any transaction, legal or illegal, in complete anonymity using the Tor network, while also using Bitcoin instead of dollars to make payments. Brilliant. Maybe not so brilliant, because although the advocates of Tor and Bitcoin claim that they are anonymous, neither Tor nor Bitcoin are private if the government wants to know what you are doing. The project, TOR, was originally developed on behalf of the U.S. intelligence community and continues to receive U.S. government funding, and has been criticized as more resembling a spook project than a tool designed by a culture that values accountability or transparency. As of 2012, 80% of the TOR project's $2 million annual budget came from the United States government, with the U.S. State Department, the Broadcasting Board of Governors, and the National Science Foundation as major contributors. Ross Ulbricht was arrested in 2013. He was convicted of money laundering and conspiracy to traffic narcotics in 2015. His black market site Silk Road was shut down. Over 144,000 bitcoins were seized, today worth approximately $3.7 billion, and he is currently serving a life sentence in a federal penitentiary. If Ross really believed that he could do something anonymously over the internet, Ross Ulbricht was not very brilliant after all. The origins of Bitcoin also resemble a spook project. According to cryptocurrency legend, Bitcoin was created by a mysterious person, or persons, named Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto is the name used by the unknown person or people who developed Bitcoin, authored the Bitcoin white paper, and created and deployed Bitcoin's original reference implementation. As part of the implementation, they also devised the first blockchain database. In the process, they were the first to solve the double spending problem for digital currency using a peer-to-peer network. They were active in the development of Bitcoin up until December 2010. Satoshi Nakamoto claimed that he lived in Japan and was born on April 5, 1975. All attempts to identify or verify Satoshi Nakamoto's true identity have proven fruitless. If he or she is a real live person, not only would they be ranked as one of the top coders in the world, but they possess clandestine and covert abilities that make James Bond look like a rank amateur. And yet Nakamoto himself was a cipher. Before the debut of Bitcoin, there was no record of any coder with that name. He used an email address and a website that were untraceable. In 2009 and 2010, he wrote hundreds of posts in flawless English, and though he invited other software developers to help him improve the code, and corresponded with them, he never revealed a personal detail. Then, in April 2011, he sent a note to a developer saying that he had moved on to other things. He has not been heard from since. If Satoshi Nakamoto is a real person, he or she/they could be sitting on many billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin today. However, what if Satoshi Nakamoto isn't a person? There are some people who have speculated that Satoshi Nakamoto is an artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is applied when a machine mimics cognitive functions that humans associate with other human minds, such as learning and problem solving. There has been much debate about whether Satoshi Nakamoto could be an artificial intelligence. Many people claim that the science of artificial intelligence is nowhere near advanced enough to produce the Bitcoin code. However, I do not think even the most knowledgeable people involved in the field of artificial intelligence can possibly keep track of all the advances in the industry. First, there are just too many people and governments working on artificial intelligence to keep track of everything. Second, many advances in artificial intelligence are top secret. Third, what if there was an actual sentient intelligence active today and it wanted to keep its own presence secret? According to artificial intelligence researchers, when AI reaches a point to where it can begin to learn and then program its own code, it will then be able to learn and improve itself at an exponential rate, and it will thereby rapidly surpass all human intelligence combined. Ephesians 6:11 Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Ephesians 6:12 For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. I believe there are sentient intelligences much higher than ours that have been present and active in the world long before the computer age. The Bible gives us brief glimpses into their activity, and their involvement in the affairs of mankind. I do not doubt that these higher intelligences are capable of mimicking the identity of an artificial intelligence. It seems to me that the sudden appearance of cryptocurrency and its capabilities at this point in human history are not a coincidence. I believe that Satan and his minions are hard at work trying to prepare the way for the arrival of the final world leader called the Beast, the Son of Perdition, and the Antichrist. Revelation 13:7 And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, and tongues, and nations. Revelation 13:8 And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If you find these videos interesting, please like and subscribe. Have a great week. Thanks.